Good morning, guys. This is Hustle and Fun. Hey, let's take a look what we got today. Looks like we got a couple of packages from Rock Auto for the air conditioning. So I believe the top part is a serpentine belt, and underneath we have the air conditioning condenser, dryer, some O-rings, and maybe something else. We'll take a look, we'll open it, and we'll go from there. Okay guys, so here are the packages. Let's take a look at this one. This one, I believe, as you can see, has the serpentine belt in it. Okay, and this one has this looks like it's the dryer, and this should be the compressor and some other fun parts. So what we'll be doing is taking the car apart. It's a 2010 Nissan Maxima, and we will be taking this apart to put these parts in it. One of the places we'll need to do is the dryer, which should be down here. We'll have the body. So here we go, guys. Here's a 2010 Nissan Maxima that we'll be doing the air conditioning on. We have a number of parts that came in, so let's look at those, what these are. So we have the air conditioner compressor right in here. We have a serpentine belt, which we might as well exchange since we're going to be taking the old one off, and the old one probably has a number of years and several tens of thousands of miles on it. We have an expansion valve. We have a dryer right here, and then we have some of the seals, some of the O-rings. So those just came, and let's see if we can install those and go from there. Okay, the first thing we need to do is remove the windshield wipers to get to the expansion valve. So by that, we need to remove these caps that are right here, just with a flat screwdriver, pry underneath, and they come off. And after that, take the 14mm bolt off of each windshield wiper. And once you have that, you can reach underneath again with a flat screwdriver, and you can pry these loose, take those off, then you'll be able to take this plastic piece off. So once you remove the windshield wiper arms, go ahead and pry this out of place, this plastic piece. You may have a couple of pieces holding it in place. The way you take these tabs out, you just reach underneath, get them, the middle of them to come out, try not to break them, and then once you have taken those out, these come out. This has another one here, and this comes loose. Same thing on the other side. I already have taken it out. There's a piece here and a piece here, and once you have those out, you should be able to take this off. Next, what we need to do is get some of these bolts loose right here. I don't know, these are probably about 13-14mm, most likely 14. So you have to take a look what needs to be taken out, some of those, and all the way across there. There will be another piece underneath. It's the same thing. You have to remove those bolts as well. Okay, so what we need to remove next is these bolts right here. Some of them are 13mm, some of them are, and on the other side there, 10mm. So take all of those off, and once you have that done, like I had, you can actually remove this part. And once you remove this part, there's two more clips right here that you need to take off. You have to flip this to the back side like that, and then you have to push each one of these with a flat screwdriver, this side, and it can go through. Same thing with this. You push this side and this side, and that can go through. One thing of caution is this windshield right here. Make sure that you don't hit it or bump it, because you could break it and that could get expensive and time consuming. So be careful of that, and let's take those clips off, and this part should come off. So once you have that removed, just to gain easier access, you want to remove this piece right here, which is taking off this bolt, this bolt, this bolt, and this bolt right here. So there should be about 4 bolts. I believe they're about 10 millimeters. So once you take that off, this whole piece can come out. Okay, the next step in this expansion valve replacement is taking these clips off. You just need to squeeze them together with a needle nose or vice grip or something, and move them back on each side, and then you're able to wiggle this hose off. It will give you a little bit better access, because the expansion valve is right in there as I'm pointing. You need to take, I believe it's a 10 millimeter off there. Then you have a couple of other things you have to remove. I'll show you that in a second. Just one thing, there was a 5th bolt in here that I didn't realize, I couldn't see, but there's a total of 5 that you need to take off to get this piece off. So let's move on to this hose and let's take that off. So down in the center, you have a 10 millimeter that you need to take out. Once you have taken that out, you have to move this part right here and take that loose. And then you will find that there's a couple of hex bolts that you need to remove here in order to take these 2 pipes loose. So let's get that done. One thing that you should be aware of, if you have taken the last bolt out and you don't have the AC discharged, you may have the high pressure line come loose on you. So you want to make sure that you discharge the AC system beforehand. So to proceed, you need to take this bolt out, which is a 5/32, which is in that block, what we're replacing, and the expansion valve. So if you don't have any tools, you could use an Allen wrench. It's a 5/32, and you can actually put something on the back of it to give you a little bit more leverage. So that may be one of the ways to take it off if you don't have the proper tools. But a 5/32 will work. And once you have that, you can start taking loose the high pressure line and the low pressure line with the block as well. So let's continue on that. So what I recommend is that when you're working on this valve body, that you take the second screw out and you put this bolt back in, or screw I should say, what was in here. That will help you to take this valve body out, because it's hard to grab onto anything. If you have this in, you can actually pull it out a little bit easier. So the 2 hose, disconnect that, and take a look. There's some O-rings on the old parts. Replace those with the new packet that you should have as a kit that came with the AC condenser. And take a look wherever you have O-rings, such as at this point right here. If you take this apart, you should have an O-ring in there, and a couple of other places as well. Replace those at this point. So let's get those things done. It is always a good idea to match the old part with the new part and see if anything needs to come off of that in order to put on the new part. And if you don't, then you should be good to go and start installing it. Make sure, as I said, to replace O-rings or any other parts that comes with the kit. It will help you in the future. Even if it's not leaking now, it may start leaking 6 months from now. So take care of that at this point. All right, so we have changed the O-rings. As you can see, they're green now. They used to be black. And we're ready to put this valve body back also. It has 2 O-rings, one on the high pressure, one on the low pressure side. but there's also 2 more O-rings inside. I don't know if you can see that. Let me try to see if I can get you guys there. So inside there you can see one of them, and that was replaced, and also the one next to it was replaced. And also here I replaced one. If you take this 10mm bolt out, there's an O-ring that connects these 2 pieces of the high pressure line together. So that was replaced as well. You can see the old O-rings here. Here's the new valve body that I'm about to put in. Those are the 2 bolts that need to hold it in place, and then we can attach the 2 lines and then the hold on screw to hold them with the bracket. So now that the valve body is back in place, here's the bolt for it. It's 10mm. We can put that back, and after that we can put the hose back with the clamps and the rest of the plastic and the metal pieces. I'll show you how that goes. It's basically the same way that you took it off, except in reverse. Okay, so we got the bolt snug, the 10mm bolt for the valve body, and I also put in the line, this hose with the 2 clamps, and those are in place. And now we can put the metal piece right here with the 5 10mm bolts. All right, so the 5 bolts are in this metal cover. I tried to clean up a little bit behind myself, make it a little bit nicer than it was before. So we're ready to put on the larger cover that goes across here, and let's get that put on. Okay, so I have the metal bar, crossbar in place. What I usually do is I put in the bolts that I know where they go. There's only 4 of these large ones. These are, I believe, 14mm. So I install those, and the rest of them are small white 10mm bolts. So and there's a nut right toward the middle, and just tighten those snug, and then the plastic piece can go on. So before you put the 4 bolts on, don't forget to put these 2 clips back in also. So get this one and this one in, and then put the 4 bolts back on, and then the rest of the 10mm. These are actually the bolts 13mm, not 14mm. So there should be, let's take a look here. Should be 4 of these, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the regular ones, and also a nut. So that should be it. That holds the metal panel in place. So once you have the metal piece in place and then the plastic piece right across, you have to kind of tuck it under the windshield to kind of snap in place. Then you have this plastic piece to put back, and also this plastic piece. And you have a couple of clips that need to go back in place right here. And I believe that's it for that side. But this has a couple of clips in here that need to go in place. So put those back, and you're ready to put the windshield wipers back afterwards. So the way you can tell the difference when you're putting on the windshield wipers, the armature, is that the one that has the longer blade is on the driver's side. The one that has the shorter is on the passenger side. So go ahead and put the 2 14mm nuts on, tighten them. Make sure that you have the positioning of the blades correctly. They're not too low, not too high. And then go ahead and tighten them, and then just go ahead and snap the clips back on. Here's one of them. Here's the other one. Okay, that's on. So at this point, you're finished with the valve body. You have to pull a vacuum on the whole system, and then you have to fill it with refrigerant. If you have any other spots that you want to put O-rings in, you could do that at this time before you do the vacuum and filling of the system. I like to wipe down the engine bay a little bit. I mean, nothing extravagant, just so it looks a little bit cleaner. And if you would like to stay with me, On the next episode, I will be working on replacing the dryer, and on the following one, the compressor. And after that, we'll be pulling a vacuum on the whole system, and we'll be filling it with Freon, also oil, whatever the car needs for the AC to function. So catch you on the next one. If you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up or subscribe, and I have more wonderful details coming your way. Catch you on the next one. Take care.